Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to MC Motorsport powered by MCSR. We welcome you tonight to Brands Hatch for the first round of the start of our season in the Toyota 86 Cup tonight. Another fantastic season of racing ahead of us. As we strap our drivers into something a little bit different. They've raced the GT3s. Some of these drivers have raced in our Super Formula Lights earlier this week. But tonight we're taking it back to the basics, getting to grips with an entry-level racing car, if you will. These drivers are taking on a 6-week series. We're starting here tonight at Brands Hatch, and the next 5 weeks beyond that will take us to Lime Rock Park, Oran Park, Sandown, Long Beach, with the finale on October 10th at Bathurst. So great to have you along. My name is Jared Cole. I find myself solo here tonight in the commentary booth, so bear with me as I try to get my throat to basically put up with an hour or thereabouts of talking at you and by myself. Let's have a look at how this race is looking tonight here at the lovely Brands Hatch circuit. We find ourselves in the United Kingdom. This is going to be fast and frenetic racing this evening. The track is very short, only 1.9 k's on each lap. Very few turns compared to what a lot of these drivers are used to, but the temperature and track conditions are absolutely beautiful, completely dry, beautiful blue skies, a nice warm track so these tyres can get up to temp. And we should see some really good, close, fast racing right throughout this evening. Lots to bring you. The drivers are just finishing up their qualifying now. We're a few minutes away from knowing what our grid's going to look like. The racing tonight, a little bit of a different format to what you might be used to. The MC Motorsport series generally run an initial race followed by a reverse top 10 for the second race of the evening. Tonight that all changes. Tonight we're reversing the entire grid in the second race. So expect to see, either some amazing passing, some wonderful tight battles, or potentially absolute carnage and chaos as the faster drivers try to make their way through from the back of the pack for that second race. Either way, tonight promises to be absolutely incredible, enjoyable racing. And I'm really looking forward to bringing it to you over the next, as I said, hour or so, while we just wait for our qualifying times to come in and we start to grid them up for the beginning of our very first race in this season. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Simple Racing Broadcasts, and we are looking forward to bringing you more of these as the season progresses. Don't forget, if you're not already subscribed to the MC Motorsports channel, make sure you do hit that button down there to be notified when we are going live. Monday nights is our Super Formula Light season, and Thursday nights for the Toyota 86 Cup. And come mid-October, you can expect to see the return of the GT3 cars around some of the world's most iconic circuits as our drivers get to grips with high downforce, high speed, and frankly just insane racing. Always a pleasure to watch these guys around the track. Tonight's lineup, we've got a bunch of different names stepping in. Some of them you'll probably know from our past races. Others we haven't really seen a lot of in the MC Motorsports calendar so far, so a few dark horses in there tonight. I'm looking forward to getting a bit of an idea of who they are and where they stand in the ladder of races that we do have on the roster with MC Motorsport. Drop us a shout in the chat. Keep me company. As I said, I am alone in the commentary booth this evening, so I appreciate any company that I can get, even if it is virtual. Happy to bounce some things around, but otherwise, let's see how they line up as the drivers get into the last 30 seconds of their qualifying laps. So a couple of the names that we're going to be seeing tonight that you may be familiar with. We've got Ian Ward in the pack tonight. He's one to watch. Something that I do like to point out as a bit of trivia for anyone who's not familiar with him. He is one of the few people I know who races on iRacing with a controller. And I'm not talking a racing wheel, I'm talking an actual Xbox, PlayStation style controller. It's pretty bloody impressive, you got to admit. I have no idea how he manages to run as quickly as he does, but he is an absolute machine as far as this whole idea of racing goes. To be pulling the times that he does on a controller is something else. So keep an eye out for him. We've got the ADHD racing team boys in there again tonight. We've got Mitch Curry, of course, and then a few other names we may not be familiar with. So let's take a look at the grid as they start to line it on up this evening. As we wait for our overlay to figure out what it's doing. There we have it. So Alex Court takes pole position in qualifying tonight, closely followed by Mitch Curry, Ian Ward and Lee Cadulis in third and fourth, with Scott Lefebvre and Oliver Robson rounding out the first three rows. Followed up by Jamie Nankovis, Josh Harris, Ronald Long, Brian East and Paul Saunders through to position 14. So looking forward to seeing them all out on track there. We are just a few seconds away from the start. So again, expecting some lovely conditions this evening. We'll just have to wait and see what sort of racing we're going to have. A smaller field than we were probably expecting tonight, so we're not going to have as many cars to try and keep track of, which I don't mind in the slightest. Now we just need to wait and see what we actually get in terms of racing. So we'll line them up there. The grid's just finishing up. Drivers getting themselves strapped in their last instructions from their teams, and we should be just about ready to go racing here this evening. As we wait for the start, Alex Court hoping for a great shot off the line here. Is that an Uber sticker I see? The lights are lit. And we are green for the Toyota 86 Cup. A pretty good start all around as we bring them down into turn one. We're expecting some really close racing here this evening. And it's not a particularly good track for passing through corners as the ADHD races weave and duck through the pack. That is indeed a Sesame Street livery we're seeing tonight. Fantastic. We're going to get a great view of that a little later on. Alex Court maintains his lead ahead of Mitch Curry and Ian Ward sticking in third spot. A little bit of argy-bargy there further back in the pack as everyone tries to sort themselves out on this first lap. A reminder to these guys to, look, just take it easy. No one's ever run a race and won it on the first lap, so there's still plenty of time to go here. 20 minutes in our first race, and although these cars don't move so quick in a straight line, the evenly matched nature of single make racing means that these drivers need to bring their absolute A game if they want to make it up through the pack here. And we can see that front group still really tight together, but Alex Court holding Mitch Curry at bay as they start to settle into their groove. Only lap 2, would you believe? For a short course, the 86ers do take their time getting around it, but that's not too surprising after all. Mitch Curry sporting the MC Motorsports livery there. Mitch, obviously the brains behind the organisation here, and has put a couple of these seasons on already, attracting some really talented drivers in the mix. Something to look for tonight as well. Oliver Robson, new to the MC Motorsports calendar, but promises some great things. We've heard a couple of rumours that he's planning on spearing across the track to take people out if he doesn't get the results he's after. So we'll wait and see how that goes. Ian Ward dropping back into fourth there as Lee Cadulis takes third position from him. And the driver's using every bit of the track there right out wide to try and get the best line through what is a pretty challenging series of corners. They're not particularly complex in terms of angle and apex, but the camber on them is all over the place at Brands Hatch. It's really unsettling for these cars, especially given that their suspension is not exactly the best you're going to find out there. I mean, it is race tuned, but It's not exactly a GT3 car. I'm not convinced those wings on the back really do much for them in terms of downforce. As we see Ian Ward closing up behind Lee Cadoulis and trying to find a way past to reclaim third position. Taking a look further back in the pack, we've got Nathan Bowman, Scott Lefebvre just behind Ian Ward there as he makes the move up the inside of Lee Cadoulis and takes third back. Now, can he hold on to it through these next couple of corners? He's not only held it, he's started to pull away beautifully as well. I think we've sorted our sound issues now, so I'm hoping you're getting the dulcet tones of the Toyota 86 motor. The boxer engine stolen from Subaru, doing its very best impression of a bunch of really angry beings here tonight. Mitch Curry all over Alex Court, just sneaks ahead. Now, can he hold it through these corners? He's got the outside line here, so Alex does have the advantage if he can hold him off. But Mitch Curry has found the grip and he's made the move around the outside. A brilliant little overtake through that series of corners. But Alex will be all over the back of him here as he looks to retake that. Making their way down the front straight once again. Mitch Curry's done a really good job to hang on as he gets a little loose over that curb. He's really pushing the limits of it. I don't know how much extra traction you're getting out of going on two wheels in an 86. We'll see if Alex Court can capitalise there. Moving back through the field, Oliver Robson is closing up on the Sesame Street car Josh Harris, as that's Ryan Palmer having a bit of a moment, to say the least. Quite sure what's happened to him there. That's look, I was promised big things by the ADHD boys. This livery is you know, I don't have the words for it. I'm glad to see Elmo on there though. I think that's an important part of things. Meanwhile, Oliver Robson hassling Josh Harris here in the battle for 8th. Makes a bold move up the inside and squeezes on through. Josh Harris not too keen on letting him get away with that easily as he gets all over the bumper and all up in the nose there of Oliver Robson. Nice little sauce crackle from our onboard camera here as we get in under the rear bumper. Let's see just how close Josh Harris is willing to tuck himself in behind here. Certainly lost the advantage, looking for a way to get back on the back of Robson's vehicle. He begins to pull away, and I'd say he's got that pretty safely wrapped up there. Took a little bit of a look further back as well. We've got Brian East getting hounded by Jamie Nankovic and Paul Saunders in 10th, 11th and 12th respectively. Although it does look like there's a bit of space here, you've got to remember these cars aren't moving particularly fast compared to what we're used to, so what we're seeing is really, you know, a very tightly spaced field. Only, as you can see there, about 9 seconds from the leader back to the back of the pack, which is, look, it's not actually a lot of distance in an 86. Sounds like a lot of time, but it's not a lot of distance. What's promising to see though, despite the closely matched nature of these cars tonight and the tight racing off the line, we've gotten away with it, and I'm going to jinx it here, we've gotten away with no safety cars so far, which is really pretty impressive considering some of the carnage we saw earlier. Nathan Bowman makes the move through on Ian Ward there, just ahead of the battle we're watching here with Pat Trappett, Lee Cadoulis and Scott Lefebvre right up behind him as well. And all up the front, Mitch Curry still holding close call to the bay as he tries to find a way back through. These guys are trying all sorts of different lines through these corners. Brands Hatch doesn't have a lot to offer in terms of passing opportunities, particularly when you've got cars that are low on power. You've really got to carry that corner speed if you want to have a shot at taking someone through the next set of corners. And I'm not convinced that bouncing off the curbs is the way to do it, but these guys are trying everything at the moment because there's just not the straight line speed to get the drive out of these corners and make the move. So even if someone in front does make a mistake, there's really no opportunity to pass unless you've already set up for it 2 corners prior. As we see Cadulis in the B solar car, B electrical, just keeping his eyes in front while occasionally glancing in the mirror behind. Scott Lefebvre and Oliver Robson continuing to threaten. Scott Lefebvre in the everything simulated entry there, and Oliver Robson just happy for the moment to tack onto the back of this little train. Mitch Curry and Alex Court meanwhile pulling out in front and putting a little bit more space. Nathan Bowman now 3 seconds back from Alex Court, so these two out in front, only each other to take on. The risk, of course, is as they battle they're going to be losing time to that pack behind them if they're not careful. For the moment though, they continue to pull away. Jump back to Pat Trappett here in 5th place. With him to make our way around a lap of Brands Hatch. Some awesome camera placement from our technical crew. Very happy to have had them set these cars up with a few different outlooks on the race for us. Oh, lots of movement around there as they battle for position, but he's made it work. Pat Trappett is just holding inside the award. Jeez, this is tight. Makes a smart play, backs it off. He'll line it up and try it again, I'm sure. Tries to make that 86 as wide as possible while trying to figure out how he's going to get past Nathan Bowman, who's now almost 4 seconds back from Mitch Curry and Alex Court. So I'll tell you what, these guys, they're caught up in an awesome battle. It's great for us to watch, but not so good news if they're looking to take P1 or P2 as Curry and Court continue to pull away. Now Ian Ward puts a move on in the same place that Trappett tried with him. Gets very close there to Nathan Bowman's right hand side. There's going to be a bit of panel realignment there, a little touch as they make their way through. Thankfully these cars are very forgiving for just a little bit of panel rubbing here and there. Can't quite make it stick all the way through there. So the battle continues. These guys locked together in 3rd, 4th and 5th. Some really close racing, which is great to see, and that's what we're looking forward to with these 86s. And it's a much tighter race pack than we probably expect ordinarily, as Ward makes the move up the inside, Bowman getting out of the way, and Trappett sneaks through as well. Bowman back down into 5th and now needs to keep his eyes open for Robson, Cadulis and Lefebvre right on his backside. As Robson looks up the inside, doesn't make it move, but geez, he was thinking about it. Bowman meanwhile, are they going to be 3 wide here? No, 2 wide through the corner though. This is looking dangerous. Bit of a flash of the lights there from Lefebvre, who I'm not sure if he's getting impatient or if he just wants to distract them as Bowman gets pushed wide and just rejoins. I don't think I'm very happy with Trappett's move there. But that's shuffled them all up again, so Ward pulls away, gives himself a 1 second buffer to this group. We've got Trappett, Cadulis, Robson, Bowman and Lefebvre all in tight together as they make their way around. 15 laps in, would you believe? The joys of a small track. You get to hit those same corners over and over again. You find the best line, the grip changes as more rubber gets laid down. Cadulis running just a little wide there. Bowman slowly getting shuffled to the back of this pack. as he struggles to find the speed. Lefebvre again with the lights flashing. I don't know if he just likes being seen on the broadcast, or if he's just trying to put these other drivers off in front of him. His teammate Nankovich coming up very quickly behind as well. Jump back to the front and check in on Curry and Court, and look, not much has changed here. These guys very, very consistent. Their best laps are 51.6 for Curry, a 51.4 for Court, and their last laps are 51.9 and 51.8 respectively, so very, very consistent, while everyone else is in the 52s back through the next 9 spots. So not looking like they're going to be pulled back into the pack by anyone at this stage. It's really a question of how long this battle goes on before one of them makes a mistake, as Court takes another look on the other side. Is he setting up for an over-under here? Curry's doing everything he can to defend. Court just cannot find a way through. Curry's making that 86 look as wide as a bloody semi-truck. Jackknifed at this point. And Court can do nothing but tuck in his purple Uber 86 and try and find a weak spot here in Curry's drive. Meanwhile, as we look a little bit further back through the pack, Ian Ward opening up a couple of seconds now. What's happening here? Brian East has gone a lap down somehow. Not sure what's happened there. Slightly slow racing has found himself down a couple of laps now, and is now in the pack with Ian Ward. So we'll have to be careful he doesn't cause too much drama there. Alex Court again giving it everything in behind Curry in front. All over the back end of Curry's vehicle. Trying everything he can to unsettle Curry, just find him off his line a little bit. Curry just maintains smooth, steady driving, keeps holding the ideal line. I tell you what, you've got to almost wonder if Court needs to perhaps just back it off a little bit. Curry takes the defensive line, now Court moves up the outside. That's old in an 86. Especially into this first corner at Brands Hatch, the surface is undulating. As Court continues to move up the outside, is he going to make it stick here? Can't quite get it done, but again sets himself up on the outside. Now, is this a strategic move to have Curry looking to cover the outside and then leave something open on the inside for him a little further down? Battle we're seeing here, ladies and gents. Speeds may not be as high as they used to, but geez, there is some good racing in it. This is one of the wonderful things about single make races. It's all down to the skill of the driver. We've got fixed setups, so there's no tuning involved, there's no suspension work involved that sets them apart. It is purely the skill of the driver that determines where they finish up here tonight. As we look back a little further, we've got Trappett Lefebvre right in there, and dicing again with Robson. Very, very close together. Trappett's trying desperately to find a way past. Again, all the moving around to find a line. You can cost yourself some real corner speed, and you just cannot afford that on these 86s. You need every little bit of momentum that you have. It's really important to make sure you're not sliding those tyres around too much. As Trappett continues to pressure Robson. figure out what's happened here and why some of these drivers have ended up in their own class, but that's okay. We've got them all on screen now. It makes it a little easier to figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, as Robson trapped on the favour battle, Cadulis starting to pull away as he hunts down Ian Ward, who had at one stage there a good 3-4 second gap going. So he pulled right back to a half second. I think Keldulis has found his rhythm and managed to start reeling him back in here. A few switches further back in the pack as Bowman makes his way past Paul Saunders. And Alex Court up front, still all over the back of Mitch Curry. But no change as we get into the last lap here, I'm sure. 55 seconds to go in the timed race. There's the white flag. So it's all or nothing here for Alex Court. Can he make the move? A big dive into turn one. Curry's got to give him some space there, but he retains the lead. He's held the better line, goes very, very defensive into turn two and just holds Court on that outside line. A little bit of a touch there. Thankfully not unsettling the car too much. Court's running out of time. He's running out of options. What's he got left in his bag of tricks? Time for one last push around these last couple of corners. Can he do it? Front right wheel lifting as he throws everything into that chassis. He's going the outside. Has he kept the speed? Oh, this is going to be close. I think he might have him. Court's got him. Can he hold it? What a finish. Alex Court at the death. Oh, Mitchell Curry throws it into the wall in disgust. Alex Court takes the win, 0.04 ahead of Mitchell Curry. The drive that he got out of that last corner, just spectacular. What a race. That is a fantastic introduction to the Toyota 86 Cup from our drivers tonight. Alex Court knew he had it all to do there. And these are the provisional standings before we hear anything from our esteemed colleagues in the stewards booth. Alex Court taking the win over Mitch Curry. Ian Ward in third. Lee Keldulis taking out fourth. Robson, Trappett, Lefevre in fifth, sixth and seventh with some great battles there. Nankfist, Bowman and Saunders rounding out the top 10. Fantastic start to this evening. We've got a nice little reverse race here. So as we look a bit further down in the results, Ronald Long, Josh Harris, Brian East, Ryan Palmer, Pete Minette and Isaac Edwards showing up there, but as our race stewards are not taking part this evening. So we've got some way to go. We've got a couple of minutes here while the drivers get a bit of warm up in and just settle themselves between the races. So given that I'm again still flying here solo in the booth, I might just take a minute and get myself a drink and come back and join you all again in just a moment. Stick with us. Alright race fans, we are just a couple of minutes away from our next session as the drivers get through their warm-ups. Going to take a quick look back at a couple of incidents we may have missed there as we try and understand what happened to a couple of our early contenders. Taking a look back at Josh Harris here. So that's what's happened with Brian East as well. It looks like they've just managed to punt each other into the wall, trying to make that pass through turn one. Really unfortunate for both of them because they were having a great race until that point, and yep, just not what they were hoping for, I'm sure. But what do you do, I suppose? Just a minute away from our races starting to grid. That explains what happened to both Brian East and Josh Harris, how they found themselves so far back there in that last race. So, we've got 40 minutes ahead of us. It's a completely reversed grid. We'll bring that up for you in just a moment. I'm expecting that Curry and Court will probably challenge from the back, but given that we're in the 86s, I'm really not sure what to expect here, ladies and gents. I don't really understand how these guys are going to make their way through a field like this. You know, Alex Court and Mitch Curry both definitely had the pace in that first session. They found themselves well out in front of their competitors, but will they be able to translate that to overtaking moves as they get into race 2 here, where they'll be starting right at the back of the pack with everyone else to get through. Their race times certainly were the better of the field by a good second or so, so they've got the pace when they're out in clean air. Let's take a look as the warm-up session comes to an end, and we take a look at the grid. Waiting on our race stewards to just finalise for us now. And our grid for race 2 looks like this. Isaac Edwards and Pete Manette opting to continue their sit in the stewards room rather than getting out on track. So Ryan Palmer and Brian East make up the front row, followed by Josh Harris. The ADHD Racing entries look colourful. There's no other way to say it. Ronald Long there alongside them as well. As we jump further down the grid, Saunders and Bowman, Nankervis and Lefebvre rounding out the top 10. Trappett and Robson, followed by Kildulis, Ian Ward and Mitch Curry and Alex Court starting from the back there as they try and repeat their success from race 1 of round 1 of the Toyota 86 Cup. Our drivers are getting ready to go here. As we wait for the lights. And we are underway again for race 2. Palmer, East and Harris out in front. And the Sesame Street entry is doing their very best to bring about colours. We look to go 3 wide into turn 1. Looks like everyone's managed to survive that somehow. I'm not quite sure how. Pack incredibly bunched up as those faster drivers find themselves at the back of the field for the start of this race. They're going to need to settle it down. It's still a half hour here that they've got to get through. And everyone just remembering that, you know, perhaps lap 1 is not the way to go. To making a move on Saunders there, bringing himself up into 5th. As the pack behind starts to sort themselves out. Trappett leading a whole list of drivers there in close behind. But the real story, Ryan Palmer, Brian East and Josh Harris actually managing to separate themselves out in front there a little, and Bowman just tacking on to the back as well. As the rest of this pack makes its way through, Trappett's rear view must be absolutely full. I don't think he's going to be able to see much track back there. As we have Long Ward swapping positions there. Mitch Curry starting to make his way through the field and Alex Court right behind him. Those guys now up into 11th and well. So they've made it off the back row where they started, but a lot of traffic ahead for them to try and get through. And as we look back to the front, sure enough, Brian East starting to put some space in there. Ryan Palmer trying desperately to hang on to the back. Bowman and Josh Harris dropping away as Robson starts to catch up. And he makes the move around the outside. Can he make it stick on Harris here? Harris does have the inside line coming into the turn. And they've managed to avoid contact. Robson makes the move stick. And he'll be looking ahead to push onto Bowman's rear end and just see if he can get a little bit of aerodynamic assistance to get the move done. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of aero off the back of these cars for them to get into a slipstream, but we're looking for any advantage you can get at this point. Brian East continues to lead the train out in front as everyone starts to settle in behind and space out. Now Alex Court finds himself up into 9th, with Ian Ward in between himself and Mitch Curry. Ward will be looking to take that back. Curry meanwhile looking for a way past Ward so that he can continue the charge back up towards the front. Trying to make it stick around the outside. It looks like Curry's actually going to cost himself a position here if he's not careful. There's Kildulis. Looks to make the move, but can't. Ian Ward gets squeezed back, and now Curry and Court find themselves together again up into 9th and 10th. As the pack continues in close behind. Meanwhile, Ryan Palmer getting all sorts of hassle from Bowman and Robson. Bowman finds the inside line and holds it. Robson's going to sneak through behind as well. I think Palmer doesn't have the pace. He should have brought the grown-ups car instead of the kids' car. Oh, he's touched. Little bit of scraping. Oh no, he spun him. That's Robson off into the dirt as Palmer is probably going to expect a little bit of action from the stewards there. Look, hard to say. They'll be looking back at that replay very closely to see if there was anything in it. Meanwhile though, Palmer's been thrown off his game a little there, and straight away Saunders and Trappin make the move up behind as well as Nankovic. Somehow Palmer's managed to hang on to that, and I'm not sure how he's managed to start to pull away. He's pulled it back together. Saunders again though looking for a way past Nankovic to continue the charge. Well, they're caught up. Trappin's just going to sneak on in there, take the outside line, and he just might pick up a couple of positions here as well. Just to get a feel for how close these guys are and how hard they're pushing these vehicles. This Trapper looks to move up the outside, gets cut off from inside, the tyres squealing in protest. Ryan Palmer meanwhile still holding his advantage. As the argy-bargy continues behind, that's Court and Curry starting to make their way up and through the pack. They've caught up in a real hurry, now find themselves up in 5th and 6th, so they've still got that incredible pace from race 1, and they've got the moves to get through the pack as well, by the look of things. Let's just go on board here with Alex Court and see what he can get done on this lap. Biding his time, waiting for the mistake from Trapper and Nankovic there. So who's that? That's Josh Harris who's spun there. Let's go back and have a look at what's happened to Josh Harris. So Harris and Palmer there together as they came into this section. It doesn't look like there's been any... I'm not sure what's happened. That's a choice. I don't know what to think about that. It looks like he must have had some technical difficulties because he hasn't even tried to stop that from going into the wall. Meanwhile, just quickly checking, looks like Fabian may have had an issue as well while we've been watching that. Let's keep an eye on this. He's made contact and he's spun, and oh, Brian East just barely sneaks through there. So Josh Harris finds himself way at the back after a pit stop to repair that damage. Meanwhile, the field's spreading themselves out again. Nankervis taking a second place. Ryan Palmer finds himself all alone, but it's okay. He's got his Sesame Street friends to keep him company. While Nankervis tries to close a 3-second gap, but Alex Quart, that pace just blistering, and Curry right behind him makes a move through the same corner. Nankervis has just got no answers to that. So Quart and Curry will look to extend the gap now that they've got some clean air together. And I think we're going to have a repeat of the first race. It's going to come down to these two at the end if Ryan Palmer's not careful. He's going to have to up his pace. His best lap so far are 51.9, Quart and Curry 51.6 and 51.4 respectively. So they will be reeling him in at a few tenths every lap if they can keep consistent. Worth noting though that the last lap much slower for the entire group of drivers into the 52s and 53s, so just getting caught up in the battles a little bit there. So take a look just a little further back, and sure enough Robson and Bowman going at it with Ian not far behind. Paul Saunders looking to make the move around the outside of Bowman, can't quite get it there. Looks again to the inside, the pressure on, but can't hold it. Saunders and Robson both looking for a way past. Robson trying to take advantage of Saunders upsetting the car, and he does so. Pushes himself through. Now can he continue that momentum and put the pressure on Bowman? Ian Ward, meanwhile, out of nowhere, tacks himself onto the back of Saunders, says thank you very much, I'll take the tow. Meanwhile, just behind them, Brian East and Ronald Long going at it. Let's see how we go down this main straight as Robson puts the move on right up behind Bowman. They might have touched there, but geez, there would have been a lot in it. But Robson pushes through the inside. Now Bowman's got the inside run into this set of corners. Can he regain his place? Manages to hold him out, but Robson's fired that warning shot. He's looking for a way through. Bowman's going to have to go defensive, but that does set Robson up beautifully on the inside of this corner. Can they have it together without touching? Oh, a little rub there, I'm sure. Not much in it, but geez, they're pushing up right into each other. They're both going to have to back off a little or risk spinning. Well, Nankervis just putting some space in, right up on the back of Trappett. And Mitch Curry and Alex Quart, again, slowly reeling in Ryan Palmer, who's managing so far to keep them at bay. They're getting closer, but it's not going to be fast enough at this rate. Now this pack of four here, led by Bowman, very close together. Ian Ward's made his move through, ahead of Saunders. Watch Robson to see if he does make another move on Bowman. A lot of pressure on these two, fighting very hard. It's getting a little bit up close and personal as they rub doors from a lot of these corners, but as they say, rubbing is racing. Robson has a big look up the inside. Oh, he's a little trudge there, just bangs Bowman around. He's going to have to back it off, but he retains that inside line. Now, can he make this into a move? Got some good traction out of the corner, but Bowman retains that and just reminds him that he's there. Puts the pressure on to force him wide. The over-under from Robson, and he just might have the run here. Great move to retain all of that momentum. And I think he just might get it done if he can hold it. Oh no, Bowman slides it into him. Heavy contact, not enough to upset the car. Ian Ward, you'd better be careful there, my friend, because there we go, a bit of bumping and barging. Ian Ward getting a little frustrated being stuck behind these two at this stage. But he's going to have to be careful he doesn't get caught up in it as Bowman again pushes through, retakes his spot, holds the inside line. And now Robson finds himself on the defensive. Meanwhile, Ian Ward looking to go 3 wide into the corner. And there it is. Robson makes contact with Bowman and spins him. Now that one's going to need a closer look. I'm going to keep an eye on race control there and see if we get anything out of that. So Bowman drops all the way down to 13th after finding himself in the gravel. And this group continues. Ian Ward now finds himself the beneficiary, manages to stay clean in all of that, and enjoys 6th place with everyone chasing behind now. Saunders, Robson and East lining up to put the pressure on him. Meanwhile, we look forward to Ryan Palmer, and Curry and Cord have caught him now. So will Palmer feel the pressure? Will he hold it together and manage to distract Curry, particularly with the incredibly colourful livery from ADHD Racing? And let's not count Trappett out of this either. He's lurking in the background there. Curry gets the traction through that corner. Beautiful line. He's going to take the inside line here and surely will take the place from Palmer. And Ryan Palmer's done a great job so far to hang on to this position and keep his nose clean, but now that Curry's got the cleaner in front of him, there's a very good chance that Palmer's going to... Oh, Palmer makes the move up the inside. That's a big dive for that one. Can he make it stick? Curry finds himself on the inside line again for the next corner, but Palmer's got his nose in front. Unfortunately, not good enough, and there's Court all over it as usual, looking to just follow Curry through. Can't quite make it work, so he's switching back and forth desperately to get whatever advantage he can out of this. Curry's going to try and make the move around the outside, but Palmer with the inside line puts himself back in contention. This is amazing racing, ladies and gents. Door to door as we go round again, coming into lap 17 of this session. We are just about halfway through race number 2 of this Toyota 86 Cup, and it is providing in spades the sort of racing we'd love to see here at MC Motorsport. I cannot believe Ryan Palmer is managing to hold his position. Meanwhile, as he's slowing down the blistering pace that we've seen from Curry and Court, Trappett has made his way up to the back of the train, and he'll be looking to take advantage here as well. As we look in the background there, we've got Ankerfist not far behind, and then Robson leading the train of Ward, Saunders, East and Long. Great battles going on. Kiltoolis right in behind Robert Long as well. But we look to the front. Mitch Curry looking for the outside line. Now Ryan Palmer has the inside. Brakes very, very late there. Almost goes wide into the sand, but holds it, which allows Curry to find himself back on the inside. And that could be all she wrote for Ryan Palmer, as Alex Court looks to put the pressure on, and Trappett continues to just sneak around in the background, looking for any opportunity to take advantage, as he does find the inside line there, looking to get through wide. What makes his move? He doesn't want to lose Mitch Curry out in front. He wants to stay with him and try and repeat his race 1 win. I think that might be it for Ryan Palmer. He's fought valiantly, but Alex Court now starting to pull away, and Pat Trappett right in behind Court is going to have the assist as they come down into turn 1. His 86 is bouncing around all over the place this evening. Trappett makes his move through and then back again. Oh no, Palmer's come together with Trappett. Palmer doing the right thing, looking to redress that and let Trappett through again. Want to be careful. Robson obviously threatening. So the right thing there from Ryan Palmer, good to see. redressing that one. He knew that he shouldn't have spun Trappett there, and looking to avoid the penalty from the stewards. As we take a quick look out in front while Mitch Curry starts to pull away, Court's now got a bit of catching up to do. And after all of that, Nankervis finds himself comfortably in third with Clean Air in front, Clean Air behind. While Trappett, Robson and Palmer all in together as Ian Ward continues to lead the second pack through another lap. We're into lap number 20 with our Toyota 86s this evening. Good to see Ian Ward and Brian East both featuring in this race. They're there week in, week out. They've made it right through our GT3 season. Great to see them both getting some time alongside each other here. Is not far behind as well. Taking a look further back, Josh Harris, mate, I've got a feel for you. You're a long way behind there, my friend. So wish you all the best. Nathan Bowman, though, just in sight up ahead after he got spun a little earlier on. And then Scott Lefebvre in the Everything Simulated Racing entry is again looking to tack onto the back. But here's where all the action is. Ian Ward and Brian East staying within 2/10 of each other. As East almost makes contact there, just considering a pit manoeuvre to make his way past. And I think Saunders just biding his time as East gets very, very loose coming through that corner. He's obviously pushing that car to the absolute limits of its grip. Got to be careful not to lose that momentum because Saunders wants that position and he is perfectly poised to take it if East does step foot wrong, particularly as we come onto that main straight, because this is where all that momentum counts. If you don't have the pace out of that last corner, this is where people are going to get past. Ward shuts the door on East decisively as they carry it through. Just seeing Robson and Trappett side by side. A little bit of back and forth there as Robson goes the over-under, doesn't quite manage to hold the traction. Ryan Palmer doing his best to make a move for it as well. Robson will find himself on the outside and he's got to be careful that Palmer doesn't sneak through on the inside of this corner. Palmer not quite having the pace to make it work as he lifts a wheel. Let's see what we can do down the straight. Now Palmer finds himself in a great spot. He's got the aero assist, what little there is, and that might be just enough. He hasn't managed to make anything at that time through, unfortunately. Ryan Palmer shoots around the outside as Robson and Trappett get caught up in their own battle. Meanwhile, here comes Brian East and Ian Ward. They've closed the gap while battling it out between each other, and suddenly this battle pack of 3 becomes a battle pack of 6 as Paul Saunders just manages to hang in there, and look out, here comes Keltoulis behind as well. Try and keep all of these guys in frame for you, ladies and gentlemen, because there is a lot happening. But all in all, really nice clean racing. As we see an absolute train of Toyota 86s buzzing their way down the main straight of Brands Hatch. Just passed through the 10 minutes to go mark. So we've probably got ourselves about another 10 or 11 laps here. And now, as Keltoulis makes his way in, we've got a pack of 7 here, ladies and gents. Would you believe it? What we are looking at here, from Pat Trappett back to Keltoulis, is positions 4 through 10 of 14. Anything can happen here. As Robson puts the pressure on up front. Let's see what we find down this straight as everyone battles to tag on. Robson continuing to threaten Palmer, just happy to hang on the back. Robson makes the move through Trappett, makes contact. Robson tries to hold his line but just can't quite get there. Now can Trappett make the move around the outside, or is Palmer going to take him up the inside as well? So Robson throwing the 86 around, his tyres taking an absolute beating. As we take a look out the back of Robson's car, have a look at that. Right up behind is Pat Trappett, followed by Palmer, followed by East. Ian Wood, Kildula's back there as well, and Paul Saunders still managing to stay in touch. And here they come down into the first corner. Trappett looks up the inside, giving each other plenty of space there. Ryan Palmer looking to make the move, and Brian East threatening as well. As Robson closes the door, Trappett and Palmer in battle, and East makes his move through on Palmer. Doesn't quite manage to make it stick. But geez, what a great series of battles we've got here, ladies and gents. I was expecting a lot of close racing, and this is far beyond what I could have hoped for this evening. Just amazing battles going on right throughout the pack. Meanwhile, Alex Court slowly closing the gap to Mitch Curry out in front. But I reckon Nankervis, he's got to be thinking they can't stay alone out here forever. Robson's slowly closing that up, only 2.3 seconds behind. Again though, the absolute pace of Curry and Court out in front. As they start to close up, they have opened a 10-second gap to Nankervis in third. Just dominating in these 86s. I don't know what they've put on those tyres or what they've done to those motors, but the performance that they're getting out of these 86s up in position 1 and 2, far beyond anything anyone else seems to be able to extract around Brands Hatch. So we'll keep an eye on that one from afar as we go back to the battle pack. Robson and Trappett still at it for 4th and 5th. And there's Nankervis just ahead. We seem to be getting closer and closer to him every lap. Only 6 minutes left though. Can these guys continue to close that gap while holding their battle together? That is the question, ladies and gentlemen. Palmer and East still looking for a way through. Who is going to crack first? Don't forget we've got Ian Ward, Kildulis and Saunders in the background there. As Saunders looks to make the move through on Kildulis. Kildulis finds himself well off the inside of that corner and gives it up to Paul Saunders. And here we go again. The gap closing. 1.7 now from Nankervis back to Robson. Let's keep an eye on this. This pack of 4 egg each other on and get faster and faster pace out of this. The times distinctly different. Nankervis turning in 52s. Robson, Trappett, Palmer all in the high 51s on that last lap. So they're closing it down slowly but surely. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get the podium though, with only 4.5 minutes left in this race this evening. I think the battle for these 4 is for 4th place. Robson in a commanding position. Trappett continues to threaten. Nankervis finds himself off on the grass. That's going to cost him some time. The gap now 1.2, they've closed half a second on that lap. Let's see if we can get on board with Ryan Palmer and check some of this out from up close with the action. Trying really hard to read the back of that one every 40 seconds, it ain't weak to speak. Important message on the back of Trappett's car there. Mental health is a very important factor, particularly in men's health. As these guys continue to go, there's Nankervis as Robson closes in. That gap now at 0.6. They've halved the gap on that lap. Nankervis, his third place. Yeah, oh, he goes wide. He's cooked those tyres. Here comes Robson. Can Trappett make the move as well? He can. Can Palmer make the move on Nankervis? Wow. Jamie Nankervis, very sorry to see that. And that's all it takes, a little misstep as he slides it through. Those tyres are absolutely cooked. He's been doing everything he can to hold these cars off, and now he's out of options. Just under 3 minutes to go. And in the background we see Palmer and East make the move through as well. So Nankervis, his tyres from those couple of slides absolutely done. But in getting caught up in all of that, Robson and Trappett now find themselves in the battle for third. Palmer and East duking it out as Nankervis tries desperately to cling to the back of both of them. Let's take a quick look up front just to check in on these two. Alex Court pulling Mitch Curry back slowly. And I suspect he might just be thinking about setting up the same move as he made in the last seconds of our first race this evening. I'm calling it now, ladies and gents. 2 minutes from now, I reckon we're going to see Alex Court make the move on that final corner and try and just put the nose in front across the line. We're going to come back and check on that in just a second. But all the action continues just a little bit further back as Robson and Trappett down the main straight. Trappett looking to the outside. Robson moves across. This is the battle for third here, ladies and gents. Robson holding Trappett off as Brian East, Ryan Palmer and Nankervis continue to circulate in the background, looking at 5th position. We see a little further back, Ian Ward's made the move there in that corner on Lee Kildulas rather. So those two have been swapping positions over the last couple of laps. Robson and Trappett. This has got tragedy written all over it. Here we go. I'm gonna take us up front. I suspect we'll get one more lap out of this race. So this will be the penultimate lap now. We'll see the white flag on the next run past. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Into the last corner, Alex Court just clinging to the back of Curry. Here we go. There's the white flag. We are into the last lap of race 2 of our Toyota 86 Cup. Can Alex Court repeat the heroics of race 1? He is certainly right up in Mitch Curry's bumper. Takes a little pick up the outside, moves to the outside. Curry's going to be watching this carefully. He knows what Court's capable of on that final corner. And here it is. It was right about here, not so long ago, that we were talking about Alex Court needing to make his move before it was too late. He's still 3/10 behind as he closes it right up on that corner. Has he found the line that he needs? I don't think he has this time. And there we go, 1-2 reverse. Mitchell Curry takes the win. Alex Court flashing in what I can only assume is congratulations for a fantastic race there. Mitch Curry takes P1, Alex Court P2. Robson and Trappett race it all the way to the line. But Robson holds that inside line. Trappett makes a last-ditch effort to take it. But Robson gets to Trappett in 4th, Easton Nankervis, followed by Ryan Palmer. Then Kildulas and Ian Ward, followed by Saunders and Lefebvre in the Everything Simulated entry there. Ronald Long has managed to hold Nathan Bowman off as he charges through. And our sincere regrets to Josh Harris, who despite a valiant effort, doesn't manage to close the gap any further than that. There it is, ladies and gents. Race number 2 finishes with Mitchell Curry and Alex Court reversing their positions from the first race, fighting their way right through the pack, but a reverse result there. Alex Court couldn't get the move done, and so Mitch Curry takes the win in race number 2. Oliver Robson and Pat Trappett in 3rd and 4th after a protracted battle there. Brian East with Slightly Slow Racing coming through in 5th, and Nankervis in 6th. Keldoulis and Ward, Saunders and Lefebvre rounding out the top 10, with Long, Bowman, Harris and Palmer closing it out in 13th and 14th. And ladies and gents, that'll do it here tonight as our racers finish their final cool down laps. What a night of racing. I said earlier I didn't know quite what to expect this evening, but it would all be close and door-to-door racing, and sure enough, what we've seen tonight from our 86 drivers is nothing short of spectacular racing once again. So from here, we wait until next week. We've of course got our next race with MC Motorsport on Monday night. The Super Formula Lights are back in action. But if you've enjoyed tonight's racing particularly, the Toyota 86 Cup returns on September 12th as we go to Lime Rock Park, where these drivers will once again jump in to bash doors and hopefully we see some more good, fast, clean racing in the Toyota 86s. But that is it from us tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the broadcast from MC Motorsport and Simple Race Broadcasts. This is Jared Cole. Thank you so much for keeping us company this evening, and I look forward to seeing you for our next race in just a few days' time. Remember to subscribe to the channel to keep in touch, and on behalf of everyone at MC Motorsport, we bid you a good evening, and we will see you again next time. Bye-bye for now.